Today, I thought I would do something a little bit different and share with you guys my current most anticipated reads and the books that I'm most excited about that are coming out within the next 365 days. So starting off strong, obviously I had to include this one. It was just announced. Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. This is coming out March 18th, 2025. This is supposed to take place 24 years before the first Hunger Games novel, so that means we are going to be experiencing the 50th annual Hunger Games, or the second quarter quell, so it is going to be crazy. I was definitely a Hunger Games girly, and I still kind of am, so I'm really looking forward to this one. I thought Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes was so well done, and I really enjoyed that one, so this one hopefully is just as good as that. And then on the same note, there is a new illustrated edition of The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins coming out on October 4th, 2024. This is illustrated by Nicholas Delort, and the cover looks absolutely beautiful, so I can only imagine the illustrations within it are going to be stunning. I don't think you can go wrong with an illustrated Hunger Games, so I can't wait until this one comes out and I get to add it to my collection. Then on June 10th, 2025, so about a year from now, V.E. Schwab is coming out with another book called Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil. It's giving dark murdery vibes, and I'm really loving that. So the description for it that I found says, Santo Domingo de la Calzada, 1532, London, 1837, Boston, 2019. Three young women, their bodies planted in the same soil, their stories tangling like roots. One grows high, and one grows deep, and one grows wild, and all of them grow teeth. That sounds so dark and mysterious, and I'm here for it. Then, speaking of dark, Riley Sager has another book coming out on June 18th, 2024 called Middle of the Night. So that one's coming out really soon. This one is about a man named Ethan Marsh, and when he was a kid, he was camping in his backyard with his neighbor, and during the night while he was sleeping, someone sliced open the tent and Billy went missing and he was never seen again. So then 30 years later, Ethan returns back to his childhood home and starts being haunted by his past and Billy. So this sounds super spooky. I'm so glad that this one's coming out soon because I feel like this would be a perfect summer spooky read, and I'm definitely looking forward to it. One book that's coming out this year that I'm a little nervous for actually is called Nothing Like the Movies by Lynn Painter. This one comes out October 1st, 2024, and this is a sequel to her book Better Than the Movies. This one I am kind of scared for because the first one kind of ended perfectly. It was a very good standalone novel, and I didn't really want to read too much into the synopsis because I wasn't interested in any spoilers, so I just read the first little blurb, and it's giving the vibe that the two main characters in the first one might be kind of struggling with their relationship, and that makes me super nervous because I'm not sure if I want a sequel, if that's where it's going. I feel like this is the sequel I never asked for, but I'm getting anyways. Then on January 14th, 2025, Grady Hendrix has another horror novel coming out called Witchcraft for Wayward Girls. The cover for this one is absolutely stunning. I love it so much, and I'm really into Grady Hendrix. I find his writing very intriguing, and I don't mind the goriness in his writing either. This one says it's set in Florida in 1970, and it follows a group of young women in a home for unwed mothers who find a guide to witchcraft. Anything with witchy vibes instantly hooks me, so I'm really hoping that this one lives up to my expectations. I have loved every Grady Hendrix novel that I've read so far, so fingers crossed that this one is just as good as the others. Then on July 30th, 2024, there is actually a memoir that's coming out that really intrigued me. It's called The Widow's Guide to Dead Bastards by Jessica Waite. So this memoir is about Jessica losing her husband and then finding out after he died that he wasn't exactly the person that she thought he was. She found secrets he had been hiding, including drug abuse, compulsive spending, infidelity, and a massive stash of pornography, and she was very shocked. She had known nothing about this and that her husband was into these sorts of things. So then she has to go through that shock and grief on top of the grief that she had already been feeling and kind of navigate life after losing her husband and then finding out he wasn't who she thought he was. And it says it is written with dark humor, which is always up my alley. And then speaking of alleys, Junji Ito has another collection of horror manga that is coming out on July 23rd, 2024. 2024, and it is called Alley. So it is basically a collection of 10 short horror stories by Junji Ito that promise to be terrifying based on the cover and Junji Ito's track record, obviously. This is another one I didn't really want to go into spoilers for because I love going into Junji Ito mangas completely blind, but regardless of what it's about, I am completely positive that it's going to be terrifying. Then one I just recently heard about that sounds super interesting to me and has another absolutely stunning cover is A Dark and Drowning Tide by Allison Saft, and this one is coming out September 17th, 2024. So the description for this one is a sharp-tongued folklorist must pair up with her academic rival to solve their mentor's murder in this lush and enthralling sapphic fantasy romance. Academic rivals, mentor's murder, fantasy romance, stunning cover. I'm sold. Then another one we are really close to the release date for, it's coming out June 18th, 2024, is The Art of Catching Feelings by Alicia Thompson. Naturally, the cover caught my eye for this one because I am 100% a baseball girly and I love a good baseball romance, if done correctly, obviously. I can't stand when the author of baseball romance knows nothing about baseball. But anyway, this one is about a woman who's not really into baseball but ends up at a baseball game after she signs her divorce papers and drinks a little bit too much and ends up heckling one of the players. Later on, when she sobers up, she's horrified by her behavior and DMs him apologizing, but forgets to say who the DM is from. I think they end up kind of building a relationship through DMs, not knowing who each other is. This is definitely a very unique premise as far as romances go. And then last on my list is Paper Boat by Margaret Atwood. This is a collection of poetry that is coming out October 8th, 2024, and this is a collection of poetry that spans from 1961 to 2023, and it is, I think, the largest collection of Margaret Atwood poetry in one volume, so I'm assuming this is going to be a pretty chunky book. But I love poetry, and I think Margaret Atwood's writing is stunning, so this one is very promising to me. I honestly can't wait for any of the books on this list. I am super nervous but excited for most of them. Let me know in the comments what your most anticipated books are at the moment. I always love getting new book recs and keeping my eyes peeled for new books or maybe books that were written a long time ago that just aren't very mainstream. So if you have any of those as well, let me know. But anyway, I think I'm going to leave this video here. I hope you have a great rest of your week and happy reading.